I feel like nobody has the balls to say it, but this is definitely one of the worst guns in the game. Why would they even do this to a gun? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another tier list for Cuisine Royale PS4, and today we're doing the submachine guns. If you didn't check out our other video on the rifles, I'll definitely link that below. And as always, I'm going to link the websites that we use, the tier maker. You can find all these that we do on tier maker, our Twitter, and our social sites. And you can also check out the website, the official website of Cuisine Royale. This is where I'm getting all my numbers and where I'm basing all of my tier list on, so this is a great help. If you did see the last video, welcome back, and you'll be able to tell that this time we have some improvements and we actually have some pretty cool cutouts, courtesy of Cuisine Royale and their game. Before we go on, I should mention that we do stream every Thursday, Friday, and Sunday at Yoko Gaming, and we do it on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, whatever. Come get us. Alright, so we're going for subs. Now, subs have been a little bit different compared to the rifles for a lot of different categories. Before we go, I should mention that we're not going to take into account stopping power into this tier list, and that's because as of a community, we can't have a concise decision, and the developers haven't really come out and full-fledgedly said that this is what it does. What we're thinking is that there is a threshold of 12 to 21 HP on one website that I've seen. And after you take that amount of damage from a particular gun, the stopping power damage is then added on, like a ADS or a, I can't think of it, but you know guys what I'm talking about. But it's kind of a non-factor for this, as we're going just over the base values for the things that we can test and we can prove. We're looking to get in, get close, shred the people like cheese, and then get out like the rats that we are. And no weapon does this better than the PPD-40. Now, the PPD-40 is in a class of its own, as it has your 7 damage, 10 armor piercing, 2 stopping power, 460 bullet speed, and 900 fire rate. It has a decent, crazy fire rate, 2.4 reload speed's pretty great, recoil's really low, as most of them you will see, 10 armor piercing, which is a great factor that we can base everything on, and these 3 here have the highest in the 7 damage category. So our PP-40, definitely S tier. Moving on after that, we have our PPD-34-38, no surprise there, right in line with it. These 3 will dominate. I should probably go ahead and just skip over this part, but let me explain why. It's the exact same thing. We're looking to get in fast with higher fire rates of 900, 996, and 798. Bullet speed, pretty consistent, 460, 460. Your damage is 7, 710, and these are crazy guns. If you've ever used these guns, if you've ever had the chance to use them, you'll understand why I'm putting them at top tier. They just feel superior. Now, the only reason this gun here, your PPSH, is not in your S tier and drops down to your A tier, leaving these 2 only in the S tier, is because of your 5-second reload speed. It does have a drum mag, but typically you're really close, and if you're like me and you're playing in squads, could take about almost 2 people before you're running out of a mag, and then you're hit with a 5-second reload. So even if they have something that's a little less with a 2.3, it's literally cut in half, but it's still an overall powerful gun. So we're going to put our MP-34-38 on the S rank, and we're going our PPSH for the A. Moving on after that, this is where things start to get a little bit hairy, and we really have to start diving in and really figure out which one is better and why we prioritize some statistics over the others. So our next one that we're going to highlight is our M1921AC. Not the other Tommy gun, this one here. Now this one's the craziest fire rate with 1100, absolutely ridiculous. And if you just scroll through some of the other ones, beats them out completely. I mean, like some of these are 500, 450, shreds up close, absolutely shreds up close. And so because of that, I don't mind having a 2.9 reload speed. It's not that bad. With that kind of fire rate, you do encounter a little bit more recoil. Bullet speed's not the best for far range, but you're absolutely melting up close. A 6.56 is a pretty great split. This is definitely going to be the gun that we choose behind our PPSH. And I guess it's a no surprise again that these families stay pretty tight together, and right after that is our M1A1 Thompson. Now it has the same characteristics. The reloads, or the fire rate's just a little bit less. Well, a little bit, it's actually a lot less, but where it makes up for it is the recoil and the reload speed. And so because of that huge reload speed and moderate recoil, which is right in line with everybody else, holding your 6.56 split, this is why we're going to put this gun right next to its cousin. And the last one in our category is our 50 Racing, I've heard this thing pronounced 50 different ways, so don't quote me on it, but it's the other gun that's holding your 6.56 split, and it has your 750 fire rate against some of the other ones. The best thing to compare this to would maybe be your UMP, 6.56, 285, is beating it out with your fire rate of 750, and has a faster reload speed. So that's basically what I'm doing here to really trying to figure out which ones are better and why they're better. Remember, we're trying to get in fast, we want reload speed to be low, and we want the fire rate to be enormous. And the M50 does exactly that, solidifying its place in our A category. Moving on after this, we have the start of our B category, and this is where things start to get a little tricky. I'm starting our B category off with the M3 submachine gun. We'll go ahead and slide old girl right there. We have a less fire rate of 450, but our reload speed is almost half again, and for that we're definitely going to have to put it in the first spot of our B category, really solidifying its place there. But it is no surprise that right behind it is our UMP, coming in right behind that for the exact reason. It has a higher fire rate, the reload speed is lackluster for sure, but it has a nice damage profile, and that's why we're going to really put it there in the B category. Behind that is another one, also because these guns are rare guns. You're more likely to find an M3 in the bunker on the Normandy map than you are just in the wild, and if you find a UMP or an MP5, typically that's going to be the only gun that you find of that type in the game. You're not going to find a lot of them just laying about, and so that type of priority over the rare loot system really puts these in a lower category, considering that there is better guns with higher stats that are more likely to be found. But having it on its own, the UMP and the MP5 do solidify their spots with their fire rate, and the MP5 even sports a 400 bullet speed, which can help out in some of the medium ranges. Has the equivalent of the 3.5, same as its cousin here with the UMP, and the recoil is just slightly increased, but it's still an overall good gun for its B category. Moving on after that, we have our Beretta. It has a great 2.3 reload speed. The recoil is a slightly 3, but I almost wouldn't agree with that. It has a nice solid 600 shots per minute. 400 bullet speed gives it nice steadiness out in mid-range, and it's better than some of its cousins. You look up at the Stein, you have a 552 fire rate, 400 bullet speed, and a 2.6 reload. I would much rather have a 6.4 with a 2.3, so letting its spot for the B category and putting it as the last one in our B category. And this is where things are going to start getting controversial and where people are definitely going to stop watching, because this is crazy. The Stein, I was absolutely stunned to find that the Stein had this type of statistics. I'm hoping the stopping power does come out in full light and we can give this gun a little bit more love, but as for now, it is going to be the start of our C category. I bet you guys didn't see that coming. So our Stein has a 5.5 damage, 5 armor, and 9 stopping power, 400 bullet speed, and a 552 fire rate, which isn't bad, but it's definitely getting beat out by some of the other ones in this submachine gun category, 2.6 reload speed, and a 2 recoil. So it's not the greatest, it's really not the best. If anything, instead of B being average, I would say C is probably your average gun category. B and A are almost in the same boat, and S is just completely dominating. But as we go move on after the Stein, we have our MP40. Ooh, faster. There we go. MP40. Moving straight on against the Stein, you have a 5.59 split, 5 and a 400, and the Stein has a 552, so that's why it's pumping up. Even though it's 2.3, I feel like that's not a significant increase in the reload speed enough to push the MP40 over the Stein. Also, it has a 3 recoil versus a 2. Up close, you really don't want to have any recoil, so the MP40, for these reasons, will be behind the Stein. Moving on after that, we have our MP18 that I'm plugging in behind there. Again, it seems like the families are staying together, with the M3 being the only one that's breaking this kind of pack. But the reason we have the MP18 here is for the same reasons of your 4.5 split, which is right on par here, and your 2.6 reload speed, which isn't too far out of the Stein category. So for me, it feels like it's fitting right into this category perfectly. Then you have our MP35. And this gun I'm putting in the D category as the worst submachine gun you could possibly have in Cuisine Royale. You have a 540 fire rate, which isn't bad versus some of the 1 or 2 other guns in the class, but going against the majority, it's a really slow fire rate. Not just counting that, it has a 3.8 reload speed and 3 recoil. This gun is terrible. Now, a lot of people may disagree with me, and Any gun can kill in this game, especially with a couple headshots. We know we have the 1.8 multiplier, so I guess it really comes down to the player, but statistically speaking, this is the worst gun you could possibly use in Cuisine Royale. I beg you, please don't do it. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Don't be afraid to comment down below and tell us what you like, what you didn't like, maybe a video you want to see. Share the video to all your friends. And as always guys, stay fierce. Thanks for watching.
Do it!